wakho mntwana yeke andla yowasana nomhlobo wayehlatshwa njengembala asangenso wakho mntwana wongi twala nami umhlobo uthi wosithwala umhlobo sithi when peace like a river attended my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my Lord thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. Christ died for me. Yes, I believe. And He arose to set me free. Oh, I love Him. Oh, I love Him. Oh, I love my Redeemer. Oh, I love Him. Oh, I love Him. Oh, I love Him, my Redeemer. Brothers and sisters, I just want to encourage you with these words. That we don't have the last say. Jesus has the last say about our lives. Let's be encouraged with those words. It's for this reason we sing to this Lord, this God who never changes. Even though circumstances change, our lives change, people change, but God will never change. It's still the same God, the same loving God, the same God who comforts His people. May He comfort all of us. We love you, Father. We love you, Lord. We love you, Father. And we worship you in this hour, Lord. Even when it's dark, you are God, you are the light. We worship you. We magnify your holy name. We praise your 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 name. Sakonke ukwesaba ayenze indawo
kepha ngale siyakubukana uso nebuso nyalo ngathi kulokuncane kepha ngale ngiyakwati ngalokuphelele
kudla lamkhatsini wetfu lotiphilelako futsi kudla nalotifelako nasiphila siphilela inkosi noma sifa sifela inkosi ngako-ke noma siphila noma sifa sibe nkosi
phakathi uyinqaba yakho ngaphansi kwetandla phakathi
ekhaya lababe kunetindlu letinengi ngisaya kunilungisela indzawo ngabe anginitsheli lokho kube akunjalo
loko lise lingazange selikubone nendlebe lengazange seyikuve lokungazange kuphume entitweni yemuntu uNkulunkulu wakulungiselela labamthandzako
siyakholwa ukuthi Jesu waphindze wavuka kanjalo nalabafe kuJesu uNkulunkulu uyakubavusa ekufeni abalethe ekuphileni kanye na Jesu ngako-ke dududanani ngalawa mavi Let us pray. Babe losezulwini wena losiphe lukholo leliqiniso nethemba lemile ngendodana yakho Jesu Kristu siside ukuthi siphile njengalabo labakholela ebudlelaneni lokubala abangcwele nasekuthethelweni kwetono nasekuphileni lokuphakathe qinisa ngekhathi kithi lolukholo lwethu nethemba emalanga onke ekhamba kwethu ngenxa yendodana yakho Jesu Kristu inkosi yethu amen.
asihlale phansi singibingelele ekhaya kaMabuza. My name is Sabelo Mabuza, and really I'd like to start by expressing my family's gratitude for your presence this morning. It is a very hard day for us, Mabuza, and you know, the journey of grief is a long and hard one, especially to us who are bereaved. And we are really grateful to see all of you here this morning. Your presence here clearly demonstrates the love that you had. It is, we are just short of words to express our gratitude. To us, your presence clearly demonstrates what Mother meant to you as a Kinamala, and even right now, when she sits in heaven with the angels. We honor a woman to celebrate her life. Siyabonga kakhulu. Since the program mama nginamuhla bendawo Kailan nje kunathisa timinetele timbili. Housekeeping. For those of you who would like to use ablutions, they are Langambili on my left. And also I'd like to apologize for the late start of our program. We are scheduled to finish by 12 o'clock. We will actually be finishing this program. And you bear with us. All our speakers, we would like to limit them to no more than 10 minutes each speaker. And at this point, I'd like to welcome our elder sister, Sis Kainsi Utatanamugil.
Ngithanda ukunibingelela this morning. Asasimukele isabelo ngokuthi siyanibonga kakhulu. We are really grateful. Siyathi lesikhathi lesimadima. It's difficult for people to go out and babe nebantu who are like us who are grieving. Ngakho-ke we are really thankful for you to take your time. During this difficult time in our lives. You know, our dad left us 26 years ago. Sasala namaki. This home has been very warm. Namhlaketi, it's very difficult. Today we've lost the only parent we had for the 26 years without our dad. So you can imagine, Bazalwane, how we are feeling. And for me, being the eldest, it's even more difficult. But my role here, my role was just to welcome you, Mabuza. You are welcome. Feel free. We are very grateful. But what gives us hope and faith is the faith that we have, because we know that our mother is with God. It could have been any other disease, but Mage was ready to go. We want to assure you that the day before Atohamba, we spoke to her. God and the angels have come to her. She's living. And she wants to assure us how much she loves us. And she really didn't need to tell us that, because we knew she's always been there for us. She really didn't have to do that, but she did. Once I am leaving, the only thing I ask from you, Bandvabam, is that you love each other, hold each other's hands. Nitanzane. And two, she asked us, Bazalwane, I would want you to make a beautiful send-off for me. And she said it, I trust you, I know you'll give it your best. And Sizamile Bazalwane, under the circumstances, it is difficult for us. Please forgive us. But we think we've done our best, you know. And please bear with us. But want to assure them and because please, if there's anything Nani you need from us, please, Siyanicela ke ukuthi nitive nikhululekile. Lakhaya itolo sifumigatile. So ku-safe na after the service sitawufumigata so that we assure you ukuthi ku-safe. All we can ask of you is to make sure you wear your masks properly. Ningawehlisi niwagcoke kahle ngaso sonke isikhathi. We have sanitizers around here. If you feel your hand maybe seyifomile, please go ahead and sanitize your hands. Let's be safe. Thank you very much. Ngiyabonga mfundisi.
Thank you very much. Bengathanda ukuthi each time Nabuza speaks as part of Kalengoma, even if it means just one stanza, hymn number 79. Sisaqhubeka program. Sister, cela notafundzela umlando wamake. Avele ngaphambili. Asavela ngaphambili. I would like the kids, rather those who will be responsible for tributes and eulogies, to get themselves ready. Soft music would be great. It's very soft each time. There's a change of soft music each time there's a change of activity. Thank you.
Angivuseli uMabuza bomshengi bomshabalala bakafuwa fawuzi lama ke atalwa khona. Mothers Union, which was very good. She participated in all activities. I'm proud of her. I'm Village Jabulu Mabuza, one of Butunjan, my other brother, unfortunately couldn't make it this night, but I'll be reading it. Please bear with me. I had a tired day. I traveled so far to come and see my mother go and make sure she's buried well. Not because I don't trust my sisters, but I wanted to be here with all this going on. Anyways, with further ado, I'll read the obituary. Obituary of ALVINAH KENNIE MABUZA. ALVINAH KENNIE MABUZA was born on the 24th of November 1938 in Mangayana to Mr. King Longatiwa Fagute and Mrs. Ndombi Fagute Nelly Kwele Ulamfigi. She started her education at Taweli Methodist Primary School and thereafter proceeded to Swazi National High School in Matapa for her secondary education. After completing her secondary education, she trained and qualified as a teacher and taught in various schools in the country, notably Lubombo Central Primary School and Kletusizi Primary. And then in 1963, she was joined in matrimony with the love of her life, my father, Mr. Cornelius Mashaina Mabuza. And in 1975, she left the teaching profession and joined the retail sector, where she worked as a manager of half-price stores, which is now known as TruePep. Her love for children and passion for teaching resulted in her inevitably returning to the teaching profession in 1979. And she taught at Kletusizi Primary School, where she ultimately retired in 1998 after having ascended to the position of head teacher of the school. Her years after retirement were dedicated to the kingdom service, and she served in various roles at the Cathedral Church of All Saints, particularly in Mothers Union, and also spent her time on other Passion Bible study under late Reverend Percy Ngomitulu and the Right Reverend Advent Lamini. She would speak fervently about the Bible study sessions. Our mother was born as an avid football enthusiast and followed closely with keen interest Babani Swallows Football Club of Swaziland, Kaizer Chiefs of South Africa, and Liverpool Football Club of England, where I participate and I support, which she supported with her husband. She is survived by 2 sisters, 8 children, 16 great-grandchildren, and 9 great-grandchildren. What a wonderful life she had. Rest in peace, Gemdoli, Mputelo's Wam, my son. I will forever miss our Sunday chats. Life for me will never be the same after today. Sunday is no more, but I love you. Thank you very much.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. As Jawolo steps down, I just need to say that the Liverpool, we fakile nje, wafaka nabantu. See Manchester United, see Arsenal. Kasi kubeke with our program. Ngesikhathi semanje sengicela umnatho omkhulu ukuthi etenge mbili. Bantwana, ngicela nabo ukuthi betenge mbili just to support and encourage my brother as he speaks. Bantwana, ngicela ngicela. There will also be, during that time, there may be tributes that my brothers and sisters may want to also say. We will share the mic. Please bear with us as we attempt to finish on time. Thank you.
Program Director, Reverend Messina, relatives and friends. This is one of the days I've dreaded in my life. To speak at your mother's funeral is an unenviable task, but the spirit of my mother that lives in me has prepared me for this day, and I hope I will not disappoint as I seek to briefly and concisely paint a graphic picture of our mother and what she meant to us as her children and all the many children who had the privilege of sharing her with us during her life, her illustrious life on earth. Before we share memories I would like to delve into the scriptures to illustrate how it talks about mothers and how important and precious they are. In Isaiah 66:13 it says, "As one whom his mother comforted, so will I comfort you." This denotes that a mother's comfort is God comforting you. Mothers are precious in God's sight, and he demands that we honor them and to obey one's mother is pleasing to the Lord's eyes. For the Bible says, "Honor thy father and mother," which is the first commandment of promise. And I'm happy to stand here to say that we haven't disappointed in that regard. We have honored and obeyed our mother during her lifetime. My mother was a mentor, a teacher, a motivator, a prayer warrior. I would like just to briefly discuss in a few words the principles she inculcated in us, one of which is the power of prayer. I think my siblings and whoever is here would agree with me that when it came to prayer, my mother had no compromise. I think most of us, when it was time to pray during our earlier years, we would know that now it's time for her to talk with God. And we would wait anticipatingly for her to say amen, because Mom would go on forever and ever. Some of us when it was time to pray, were engrossed with watching their favorite TV programs. Maybe it's Generation's time. And she says, it's time to pray. And by the time she finished praying, the episode was over. And if you're watching a football match, Champions League, by the time Mom finished praying, if we're into extra time, the game is finished. So she took time to pray. And as I noticed that over the years, when she prayed, she had an intimate relationship with God. She talked to God like a child would talk to their father. To her, prayer was not violent, because now we witness people praying violent prayers in a quest to chase demons and the devil. But when Mother prayed, she prayed and had a dialogue with God. And she petitioned God each time. And every time she prayed, she would first say, thank you to God, regardless of the circumstances around her. Whether she was in times of adversity, whether it was in times of joy, but she would say thank you to God. And when she prayed, it was not about praying for herself. It was about praying for her children, praying for her church, praying for the leaders of the country, praying for those who are in hospital, praying for those who are bereaved. So she just covered everyone in prayer. And I know with the prevailing situation in the country, I know my mother would be praying for people to recover in hospitals, would be praying for God's hand in overcoming the situation that prevails. And the second lesson Nam taught us, I think at an early age, was the importance of image. And that is projecting a good image. And it started with us as little kids going to church. She would make sure that we are appropriately dressed, because she said that we should respect God's house. When you go to God's house, you don't go in a shabby manner. But then that would be some value she inculcated in us, that when you go to the outside world, you must look good. And I'm sure we've not disappointed in that regard. And the third value was her love and affection. I'm at a loss for words at how I can describe that attribute of her life. Such that I remember at one time, I think I was texting a friend who shall remain nameless for our purposes. And jokingly she said, what have you done? Or do you have any skeletons in your cupboard? What have you done that is untoward? And I said, what I've done in my life that is untoward is that I've been in love with someone else's wife. And for a moment they were shocked. And then I said that, in fact, I've been loved with my father's love.